If you're designing your first life coaching website, you're exactly in the right place. My name is Stephanie Fitani, and before I became a coach and I had my own advertising agency, and before that, I was a web developer. So you're in the right place. I have a lot of experience in the coaching industry, working specifically with life coaches, and also a lot of experience in web design. So you're going to get some amazing tips here, which you'll probably not find anywhere else. And I promise you, it's going to be really easy to follow. So before you start thinking about actually building your website, you need to think of a couple of things. How am I going to market my website, and who is my website for? Now, you've probably heard this ad nauseum. You've heard it in all the videos. You need to have a little bit of an idea of who your target audience is before you start building your website, not because it's going to affect the structure of the site, but it's going to affect, of course, the copy and the sales pages and the packages. So it does help if you already know what you want to do in the beginning. You can't really jump into a site and build it if you don't know who you're building it for. So that's going to feel completely unnatural, and you're going to come across difficult procrastination, and you won't know why you're feeling blocked. And that's probably because you cannot see your own vision, and you cannot see a vision because you don't know who you're building it for. So first important thing, get clear about who you're building it for. The second thing is going to be get clear about how you're going to market your website. So of course, websites are built. A lot of people build websites as static brochures, and that is completely the wrong approach. Your website should be, especially if you want to be an online coach, but also if you do face-to-face coaching, your website should be a place where people come to book your discovery calls. If people are not booking your discovery calls as a coach, your website is completely failing. So you need to keep in mind what kind of marketing you're going to do to get those discovery calls booked. And of course, this is going to affect the kind of features that you have in your website and also the platforms that you pick. For instance, the most common platforms are Wix, WordPress, and Squarespace. They come with different expenses. With Wix and Squarespace, you pay yearly. You can also do the same with WordPress.com. However, the best platform is actually to go for WordPress.org, which is basically your own self-hosted WordPress. The way you do that is by going to a hosting company that sells WordPress hosting. You buy the WordPress hosting, and you can usually ask customer service to actually just install WordPress on your account, give you access to the dashboard, and you can start building your theme with your imagery immediately. Now, as I mentioned, the way you're going to market your website is going to be very important. For instance, I feel that for any coach, it's very important to have organic leads. By organic, I mean that people are going to find you in search engines, now also in LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and all these other tools. So it's important that your site gets optimized so that you are discoverable and findable, because this is going to make a very big difference. Especially if you want to have people from your area, doing local SEO is very easy if you have a website that lends itself to that. And WordPress is definitely going to be your top choice if you also want to have organic leads. It's also very easy to build a blog on WordPress. And this is, I think, where it has the biggest advantage. If you want to generate organic traffic and you want leads that come from Google and ChatGPT, and you want people to find you for the information on your site because they're already looking for someone like you, then you cannot skip this step, and you need to have a platform that is well SEO'd. And by SEO'd, we also mean that you have constant fresh content, which usually comes in the form of a blog. So WordPress is just perfect for that. If you pick the other platforms like Wix and Squarespace, it doesn't mean it's not possible for you to achieve results. It's just probably going to take you longer. And there are certain SEO things that you cannot do. So you are going to have a bit of a disadvantage. Doesn't mean you cannot succeed. I have clients who have succeeded, but it really depends on how competitive your market is. If you are competing with a lot of life coaches in your area, especially people who are selling something similar, maybe targeting the same keywords, and it's going to be more difficult for you to succeed with Wix or Squarespace. So I'm a big believer that you should go for your best bet from the very beginning. There's going to be a learning curve no matter which platform you choose. So it's better if you choose the best platform. Even maybe the learning curve might be a little bit sharper, because then once the work is done, you have that for life. The great thing about WordPress as well is that you can actually change your themes, so your templates. And what's going to happen is that you will not need to buy another hosting and reinstall the site when you want to change it. You will not even probably need to change much in terms of text. So you can actually just have it redesigned without completely starting a website from scratch in the future. And your website is always going to be in flux. So this is a very important point as well. Your website is never one and done. So you need to always think, what is the first phase that I need to get it to so that I'm ready to launch if you're still in the beginning? As your business evolves, especially in the first year of business, you are going to keep making a lot of changes. As you get more clarity about who you're serving and how you're serving them, you're going to make a lot of changes on your site. So it's very important to think in the beginning, it's not, oh, how will I complete my website and get it out there? The first step is, how do I get it to a place where it's phase one, I am happy that it makes me look professional and I can get out there. So that's going to be the first step. The second step is going to be then, how do I start marketing my website? And do I have the tools that I need to market my website? You will need a theme, for instance, that can have landing pages if you're running ads. If you're using organic SEO, then you need to be able to install plugins like Yoast, for instance, and a blog, which is very important because you need consistent content. So it's very important to understand. If you have a freebie, maybe you want to grow your email list, it's important that then you also pick. You're going to need a theme that integrates with a form where you can collect people's information, email and name, or you can also use a third-party tool like MailerLite. All the things I'm mentioning are going to be linked under this video, so don't feel like you have to take notes or remember everything. Okay, so let's dive into the pages that you actually need. If you stay till the end, I'm actually going to tell you what should go in each page. So you're going to need, of course, an about page. People want to know who you are. In your about page, of course, you're going to talk about yourself, but not just. And we're going to actually talk about that in just a minute. So you need your about page. Ideally, you need a page for every package that you're selling. So you're going to need maybe a work with me or a services section or a coaching section. And then you want to have a page for each package that you're going to sell. You also want to have a blog. So a blog is very important. Like I said, if you're going to go organic, if you're going to run ads, if you have a budget for ads, you can potentially skip the blog in the beginning. But I'm a big advocate of blogging and creating content, even if it starts off as a video. So make sure, even if maybe you have a podcast, but putting content on your site, fresh content, is of course going to keep search engines and people coming to your site. And it's also going to arm you with stuff that you can repurpose for social media. So it's like really a no-brainer. But anyway, so we're not here to talk about social media. We're here to talk about the website. What you want to have this blog, you want to have a contact us page, because people who are looking for partnerships or to make you an offer are not going to book your discovery call. And then, of course, you're going to need a homepage, an attractive homepage that is like a summary of the whole site. So you're going to have a summary of your about page, a summary of your service pages. So you might have a link to every package page. If you're looking for an example of how this works out, you can go to stephaniefiteni.com and take a look. My site is built exactly how I'm advocating. And of course, I have helped many hundreds of life coaches over the last 10 years actually build their sites and begin to market them with blogging and start to get clients. Yeah, so then you need a contact us page. I prefer to have also a testimonials page so that it's very easy for me to direct people to the testimonials. But you also need to have testimonials peppered all over your website, here and there, on the homepage, on the about page. The main reason why you want to do this is because, of course, testimonials really help the conversion. Now, I hear you. In the beginning, you may not have testimonials. And in that case, you don't use the testimonials page, but you do want to have one or two testimonials in the homepage and the About Me page. Now, if you haven't started working with clients properly, or maybe you've just done free coaching as part of your training, what you can do is you can get testimonials from the people you've been coaching with, even though they may not be the same perfect ideal client you want to work with. You can also get testimonials from people you have worked with. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a coaching testimonial. If you're very early in the business, you can start with a character testimonial. Maybe you've worked with someone and they liked your work ethic. Maybe people find that you're easy to talk to and you connect. So any kind of testimonial that you can get that might help someone get to know you a little bit better and maybe make them curious about what it would be like to work with you, then that's a good testimonial. So you don't have to start off with lots of testimonials from clients. Those will come with time. It's perfectly fine. So just a nice character reference can also be a good testimonial to start with. Okay, so in your services page, what you want is, and this is very important, so you want to have a services or a work with me section and a different page for every package. What you definitely do not want here is to put prices on your website. Do not have a 1-hour package. I have a lot of videos about how to create your coaching packages. Do search my channel, because there's some great information about that. But just as a quick summary, I always tell my clients, and it's very important, do not have your 1-hour or 2-hour coaching packages, because you're robbing yourself of what could be a good client and you're robbing the client of results. Obviously, this is the short explanation. Do go in and check out my other videos and you'll find out the reasons why. So what we want to do for this case is you want to make sure that you don't have prices, that you have a very good description of the outcomes and the features of everything that's going to go in the package. But what you want to focus on is in the copy of the website of the actual packages page, what you want to focus on is telling the client they want to know that you understand their struggle and that you can give them the outcomes that they're looking for. So just those two things. Then you want to have a book a discovery call button, no idea of price. It is impossible to actually sell a coaching package just using the copy on your website, unless you have been marketing your business really heavily for a number of years and you're probably already an 8 or 7-figure coaching business owner. But if you're in the beginning, what you want to do is you want to get people on that discovery call because you want to take the time to be able to really explain the value of what they're going to buy before you talk about the price. What tends to happen is with a lot of coaches, they talk about the price too soon before they have explained the value. And most people will not understand the value just by reading your sales page. So you want to get them on that call and you want to talk about the value even before actually talking about the price on the call. So that's extremely important. Yeah. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a blog and that your blog is regularly updated. It could be show notes from your podcast. It could be a blog. That's usually the one with the lowest barrier to entry to have a blog, because you can write. You can also use AI, but do not use AI written content on your blog because Google will not index it. I do talk about AI a lot, and I do have a lot of automations and processes that I can help coaches with. Do check out the links. And if you want to talk to me about this, that's something that I'm working on a lot with my clients. And there's actually a couple of surprises and workshops coming your way about that real soon. It's a very exciting time. AI is really going to help us as one-person businesses. And I feel this is like a magical time for us where we can really scale and do so much more without even having to hire. So it's just fantastic. And last but not least, we should definitely talk about pop-ups. So one of the things that I always advocate for is that your site should always have just one goal. And this one goal, especially as someone who's starting out, should be to get people to those discovery calls. This is something that you're going to find a lot of people out there who are telling you, oh, you need to have this downloadable PDF and you need to grow your email list. The truth is this: on social media and in your email list, it's going to take you approximately 9 months to warm up someone enough to actually get them to talk to you on a discovery call. These are industry statistics. These are statistics that work. It's like they are known numbers. If you Google them or ask ChatGPT, you'll actually probably find the research behind that. It takes about 9 months to warm up a person who has never met you before, to actually, through social media posts and through emails, to actually get them to talk to you. It can sometimes happen faster if they're further down the funnel, but generally, that's how it works. So you don't want the main goal of your website to be to actually put people on your email list, because what you're doing is you're postponing your success, you're delaying it. And you don't want to rely only on social media, because after you've taken your low-hanging fruit of people who already trust you, then you're going through this long warm-up cycle. So what you want to do is you want to focus on getting people to actually read your blog and go directly to book a discovery call with you. People who come to your site, okay, there's going to be a lot of them that are not ready to talk to you, but with the right content and when you say the right things in your pages and on your site, they will actually be ready to talk to you. They will have a good reason to talk to you. And you want to get those people on the discovery call because you can warm them up really fast. And it's not going to take you 9 months to gain that trust because you can spend half an hour with them on a video. And that is going to make them immediately feel whether there is chemistry and whether they can work with you. And you can actually really explain what you're about and start building a bit of rapport. So what tends to happen is that actually in the beginning, the most effective funnel for a coach is actually to get people to your site and get them to book that discovery call. You don't want to put people on your email list. But what you want to do is you also don't want to lose those people who book your discovery call because they may never come back to your site. So we resolve this with a pop-up. Now, we don't want an invasive pop-up, especially if you have a lot of traffic from mobile. Sometimes a pop-up is going to block people out and they actually cannot see your site anymore. So what you want to do is you want to have a pop-out that comes up when people are about to leave your website. And you can do this quite easily. In WordPress, usually you just register for another tool like MailerLite, and then you install the plugin and the pop-ups just appear on your site. So it's usually quite an easy thing to do. I do actually have a video that shows you how to do this. And so basically that's how it's going to work. So you want to keep people only for this one goal of booking your discovery call, but as they're leaving, it's okay to have a pop-up and get people to jump on your email list. From my experience, you can have a freebie that can be too good and actually starts stealing leads from your discovery calls. So this is a good way of keeping the two things separate, and you're only targeting people who are about to leave your site. If you really want to have a freebie, you can also just ask people to follow your blog because they want to receive more content. I found that actually that's one of the best call to actions that works for my blog. Of course, you need to have high quality content that people want to read and see. So that's very important. Okay, so that is more or less how you want to build your live coaching website. You do want to keep in mind SEO keywords and sort of the conversion copywriting and all these little elements that make your website stronger, but you really don't need much more than a handful of pages to launch with. One thing I'm going to leave you with, probably most important tip, is the about page. So your about page is going to become one of the most visited pages on your website. So what you want to do is you want to turn this into a sales page. And this is something I do with my clients all the time. So you want to make sure that on the about page, people are going to go there to see who you are and whether they want to work with you. So you want to make sure that anyone going to the about page understands what your experience is, that you understand their struggles, extremely important, and that you have achieved the outcomes, you have made it work with other people before. So you need the testimonials, you need the story, your own story, especially if it aligns with your client, very important point. So generally, when we're choosing a life coach, we want to choose someone who ideally has the same life experience. If you're going through a divorce, you don't really want to work with a life coach who has never been divorced because you think, this person, they're not really going to understand me. Although they are qualified and they can probably help you, people prefer to work with life coaches who have the same life experience. So very important point, put your life experience in there, especially if your life experience is what has spurred you to become a life coach and there is a connection, you are your own ideal client. And if you are actually, as a person starting out, if you are your own ideal client, you're probably in the best place to start. You have an advantage definitely over people who don't have that. Okay, so not everything about your site. Of course, you also want to think about the visuals. You want to ideally hire someone to do your logo. You want to hire someone to do your visuals, and you want to take some nice photography. If you have a logo and you have, when people design your logo, so you can actually go on Fiverr. My favorite system is when I'm looking for someone new, just go to Fiverr, give 2 or 3 people the same job. Sometimes it will have to be 5 people and find a good person to work with. Usually with design, you can already see their portfolio. So, you might just have to work with 1 or 2 people. When they give you the logo, then you want to also ask them to give you the colors that you can use in your website, because what's going to make your website look really professional is actually the color scheme. And it's something that when someone does a logo, no matter how cheaply you can source it, they're going to give you this color scheme that's going to make your site look professional. Another important point is whenever possible, make sure that you have professional photography. It doesn't necessarily need to be taken by a professional, it needs to be of a certain quality. So do make sure that your photos look like yourself, they look natural, but they also look as professional as possible, because that's actually elevates a website. It's all about the photography. You can have a fantastic structure, you can have a site that attracts a lot of traffic, you can have a great logo, but unless your photography is actually high quality, it's going to feel like something's wrong, like it's a bit below the bar. So do not think twice about investing in good photography, because it will completely elevate the look of your site. Okay, so that's all I had for you today. If you're interested in learning more about how to design your packages, I'm going to add some videos so that you can click through to those. If you want some more advice about building your business online and also working on how to market your website, feel free to book a discovery call. I'm going to put the link in my description, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.